Hi folks, and welcome to another board. So what do you see here? The draw is pretty weak here. We only have mode to draw cards, which is, not the best one. But since we have Chapel, we can trash down pretty quickly and still go for an engine. So let's do it. I will open Poacher and Chapel. We can also have lots of merchants here and poachers. So my opponent is doing something terrible. He's going for gardens right away. Even if you want to rush gardens, you don't open gardens. And also, this board offers no support for garden strategy, because there are no gainers basically. And even if you want to do something with gardens, you want to get like some festivals before that. At least you're gonna have some plus buys. So looking how my opponent is gaining all the gardens, I'm not going to get a poacher because they're gonna be with the draw being so weak. The poacher is going to be pretty bad for me pretty soon. So I'm not doing that. I'll get a festival because we're going to need a plus buy. Unfortunately, my chapel missed, but it's not a huge problem at this point. I'll trash everything here. So if it would have been a poacher, I would have trashed 4 cards here, but I don't really want more poachers. And now I can start buying merchants, which basically will do the same for me as poachers do, but without the drawback. Okay, nice, can trash here, and let's buy a merchant. So my opponent has 5 gardens already, which is a lot of gardens, but they are not really needed. So now I can get I can get 2 more merchants. I think I like that rather than just getting a gold. And then I can get a festival, and so I can have more buys. So this mod is doing nothing for us right now. But as we are going to add more stop cards, which will inevitably happen at some point, we're gonna need it to draw them. So let's get gold and another merchant and another moat. Because I have this festival for like some sort of village. So festival mode is not exactly, it doesn't net you any cards. It's the same amount of cards as it well, if you play a festival and the mode, and you had 5 cards in hand, that brings you again to the same 5 cards. But if we can get some villages, and we probably should, then it's going to net you more cards. Okay, so I think I need a village, another festival, because I still want more buys. And let's keep getting merchants. So maybe the gold buy was not the greatest idea for me, because I still can't use, I still want to build, and components are kinda cheap, so I still want to buy the components, and I don't necessarily need the gold for that. So maybe it should have been just another merchant or whatever. Okay, we are pretty close to double points now. So I'd say the best way to go here is adding consistency now. I don't really need to add all that much economy starting from now. So let's add another mode, and we might even get a bronze now. I mean, building up to triple bronze it can be done here, but I don't think there is a reason to do that actually. The worst thing which can happen with this deck is that it doesn't draw the silver. But I think this turn we are still doing pretty much okay, and we might have our first problems started after we buy double bronze here, which we are doing right now, but I think I'll get a seller. So having 3 bronzes in this deck, seller should be a pretty good card even without any draw. Well, so here we stall for the first time, but it's okay. Let's just get another village. So you see, I'm not adding more economy to this deck because I have enough economy. Now the thing I want is just consistency. Well, it's pretty bad that I now have to cellar all these bad cards into the discard pile, which will right away become my deck, and I'll draw the same bad cards, but not exactly. I'll just draw them later. It's very nice to discard the bad cards in the discard, which you want to see for like another several turns, but that's not the case. Okay, so we didn't have our silver. Let's add more modes. Maybe building a bit more would have been an okay idea. So we see we are turn 16 and kinda close to the end game, but my opponent is still, my opponent's gardens are still only at, he doesn't even have 30 cards, so they're like worse than Dutches. And obviously when you starting to just rush the gardens, you need to plan on depleting the piles, because if you don't, the player who goes for a bronze, he just wins because, you know, he has more points available to him. If you start rushing gardens, you won't be able to buy bronzes because your deck will be really crappy. Okay, so that looks like a good turn, maybe, if we draw a silver. Okay, so let's discard, draw the last 3 cards. I can draw, get one more coin out of this merchant, but I don't want to leave the bad cards on top. And we can get the double bronze anyway, and that's what we want. So in the first edition of base set, the gardens were kinda, well, not amazing, but it was sometimes a good idea to just rush gardens because the boards were weaker in general. But I feel like in the second edition it's very rarely a thing. So thanks for watching and see you next time.